come with them to the strip.
Yeah.
And I went. When really I should have
said,
stayed at home, because I didn't want to, look like the one that's, got a problem.
In the hospital, we tend to actually introduce depot. Reason being is that, one, sometimes the person end up forgetting their medication.
Yeah, because I've been sectioned 4 times, so I know the difference when I'm off medication, when I'm not on medication. So I know it's definitely helping, especially with my sleep.
You are actually setting yourself up for relapses.
Yeah.
And you know that when relapse comes, which means we have to start everything
again,
over
exactly.
again. So have you taken your medication? That is a question that most people don't want to hear. Then they start to actually think.
That question alone used to trigger me.
You get what I'm trying to say? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Show of Conversation podcast. It's your host, Kwame Osei Owusu, or can call me Osei Owusu Kwame, okay? As far as whichever one that makes you feel comfortable. I promised you that I was going to actually have a part 2 of my previous episode with the conversation that I had with Shocka. And lo and behold, we've made it happen.
Yes.
So you can trust us that we're actually a reliable and a trusted podcast to be able to make sure that we deliver whatever that we promise you. So just a brief catch up with the conversation I had with Shocka previously. So we delve into Shocka's childhood, growing up in a Nigerian household in Tottenham, and also we delve into a bit of what Shocka was actually diagnosed with, which was schizophrenia. And he actually gave us a glimpse of his early being part of a music group, which unfortunately it didn't go the direction that it was supposed to. And also we discussed some of the successes that he has actually ended up experiencing in his life, such as becoming a TEDx speaker, becoming an author, which his book, A Section of My Life, was one of the highlights of our conversation, because for him to be able to turn things around, regardless of whatever diagnosis that he was given, to be able to become an advocate, a community pillar, a voice for the community, to make mental health information become very accessible, not only for men, but for the community, is something that I believe Shocka deserves a round of applause.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm so happy for us to be able to continue the conversation today. So Shocka, how are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, I can feel the energy. I can feel the energy. Thank you very much for allowing us to be able to continue with this conversation, because I know that you have got numerous stuff to actually do, but when it comes to mental health advocacy, you make sure that you make time for it. And it's something that I believe that myself and the audience, we need to applaud you for that, because it's not only my platform, you've shown the love to other platforms, and I can really see the human behind you of the change that you would like to actually see, which just a few days ago was the World Schizophrenia Day.
Yep. And
your work actually spoke for itself. Majority of the work that were posted online actually had you in there, and I had the opportunity of sharing our conversation that we have had previously, to be able to let my audience who have not had the opportunity to know what schizophrenia is all about, to be able to educate themselves. So to my audience, if you would like to know what schizophrenia is about, you have not missed much. Pause on this content and please start from the part 1 of our conversation. It will give you an understanding and the insight, and it will even add more meaning to the conversation that myself and Shocka are going to actually continue with. So Shocka, we left it off the last time when we delved into our conversation about sectioning in the UK, and you gave us a glimpse about some of your experiences in terms of sectioning, which you made mention about your experiences with even hearing the siren of the ambulance, which actually all the time you heard it, it was associated to you being taken back into the ward or the hospital, and it was not a nice feeling. So going forward, is it the same kind of feeling you have even to date?
What's that with hearing sirens?
Hearing the sirens.
There's a few things. Hearing sirens, not sirens, ambulance. Is it still sirens?
Yeah, the ambulance siren.
Yeah, hearing the sirens.
Yeah.
seeing an ambulance outside my building where I live.
Yeah.
Sometimes there might be an ambulance there come to get someone. I automatically just have flashbacks of like, is that coming for me? Even though I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just that PTSD of seeing ambulance there. Or seeing the ambulance doors open from the back. You know, you rarely see, when you see ambulance doors open from the back,
you know that there's something going on.
Something's going on that's serious. The other day I was getting onto the train and a woman had one AirPod in her ear, but I couldn't see the other one.
Okay.
So I didn't know she had one on the other side. But the side she was facing me, there wasn't an AirPod.
Okay.
So she was just talking to us. I thought she was talking to herself.
Oh.
So it was giving me post-traumatic stress of like the patients that I was with that would just be talking to themselves in the ward.
Exactly.
So I was at the side of her, and she was just talking. I was like,
what's going on?
I was like, here we go.
Because I
wasn't judging her, but like you can imagine how traumatic that is for me. Like
it is.
And then when she was about to get on the train, she turned to the other side, and I saw the other one, and I was like, you see, no one will know that's what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. For someone else, they don't even think of that. They'll just see her talking and just not think nothing of it. Whereas for me, my mind automatically starts thinking, has she got mental health issues? Is this a patient that I'm... Do you know what I mean? Right. And those little things, and that happens all the time.
Yeah. Because what you were saying, I experienced that a lot. Whenever I'm on the public transport and I see someone, even when I see someone walking on the street and I see them talking, the first thing that comes to my mind, let me check their ears.
Yes, exactly.
Because if I check their ears and there is nothing on their inside their ears, like AirPods, I will start to think what exactly is going on.
Exactly. And we think like that because we're from that world. Most people don't.
Most people wouldn't.
But that's the first thing I do. I start checking their ears, checking for a phone.
You're right.
So stuff like that. Those are the little triggers that I deal with. Or certain smells. There's certain like perfume smells or like I don't know what it is, but it just takes me. You can take me back to that place. Memory. Wow. So there's different things. There's certain smells. I did a talk at a school. I do a lot of talks in schools.
Yes.
And there's one school I went to particularly, and like the building smelled like the hospital building, and it showed me that, oh my God, it's the same setup. The school building and the hospital building, it's the same. Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
Because it's got the same smell, the same foundation, the way it's set out.
Yeah.
Even uni dorm rooms.
Yeah.
It's the same as
the same kind of size.
The only difference is that it's called a university.
Exactly.
But it's the same kind of setup as like
you got your shower,
the room that you're in when you're section.
Yeah. So thank you for actually letting us be aware of some of the stuff that in reality actually happens, even beyond you even having these kind of hallucinations, how your senses have actually attached your smell, your hearing, and even certain things that you see or you hear, it is associated to a particular time that you actually underwent, because it will feel uncomfortable, because if something triggers a part in your life, because with me personally, when I fall sick and there's a certain kind of smell, when I'm sick, when I recover, I don't want to even smell it. I don't want to actually get closer, because all of a sudden it actually blocks me. For example, I cannot withstand the smell of hot dogs. Reason being is I used to work in hospitality in the kitchen, and we used to cook it a lot. We were eating it, and I felt sick. So right now I have to stop eating that. Whenever I smell it, I have to move myself from that kind of environment, because it does not give me...
even songs.
Oh, really?
Even songs as well, because there might have been certain songs that I was playing over and over again during that period while I was in hospital. Do you know what I mean? So like...
So do you still listen to that, or you stay away from those kind of songs? Is it dependent on what mood it puts
someone
you in?
else could be playing it. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily me playing it. Someone else could be playing it. It could have been a particular Drake song I was listening to over and over, and then when I hear it, it reminds me, I remember listening to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why you have to deal with your triggers.
I see.
It's important so that when you do hear those songs, they don't affect you in that wrong way, because you've dealt with the trigger.
Yeah.
Because every trigger is telling you something. That's why it's called a trigger. Because it's triggering, it's telling you there's a part of that place that's unhealed. Because when you heal it, it doesn't trigger you as much. Do you know what I mean? So if someone used to always call you big ears in school,
yes,
and then you don't deal with it and become comfortable with your ears, everywhere you go and you hear the word ears, you're going to be...
Yeah,
do
you
know what
start
I mean?
fidgeting that they're actually calling you that. Is it like, let me put it this way. Let me put it in a physical kind of term. Like you've got a wound on your body.
Yeah.
You've got the scar, but underneath the scar, there's bits of it that is not fully healed. So immediately it gets pressed.
Exactly.
No matter how many years it takes, you still feel the pain.
That's a great analogy.
It makes sense. So in terms of that, in reality, have you ever had any association that could trigger you? Have you ever approached someone, let's say they're playing a certain kind of music, and say that, sorry, is it possible to change the tune? Or you just move away from it? But how do you go about it?
That's a good... Because I'm not the kind of person that will say, can you change the tune?
Oh, do you just move away from it?
It's either I move away from it or I might sit in it, which is even worse. So I will sit in it, but you won't know what I'm going through. And that's a fault on my behalf. Okay. That's just me being too prideful, do you know what I mean? Or being too cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When I should voice
out.
But I think now I've matured to a certain place where I probably would voice it.
Okay.
I'll probably say, do you know what, that makes me feel a bit comfortable. But before...
You wouldn't.
The early stages of my diagnosis, when I didn't want no one to, talk to me about it or even bring it up, I would just pretend like nothing's going on. Yeah. Even when I had that third breakdown, when I went on holiday with my friend.
With your friend, yeah.
That I had a breakdown out there. For the most part, I was trying to pretend and keep it together like nothing's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I should have tried to communicate with them and tell them like, yo, I'm having an episode. But I tried to... Because there was a part while I was on holiday, and they asked me to come with them to the strip. Yeah. And I went. When really I should have
said,
stayed at home, because I didn't want to, look like the one that's, got a problem.
It's true.
I still went. So those are the awkward situations you can find yourself in if you don't vocalize what you're going through.
Yeah, and in terms of managing schizophrenia on a daily basis, medication is taken, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you find any difficulty when you're about to take the medication? That something come in your mind that, do I need to even take this medication? Is it really helping me?
Yeah, definitely, because I know it's helping now. Because I've been sectioned 4 times, so I know the difference when I'm off medication, when I'm not on medication. So I know it's definitely helping, especially with my sleep, which you're a sleep specialist. So my medication helps. I'm on risperidone. Okay. Risperidone makes you kind of sleepy. It helps, and I take my medication once a night. So there's some people that take it throughout the day.
That even makes them even
tired. And I used to be that person that takes it throughout the day. So you can't really do much in your day.
What about considering the depot?
What's the depot?
Depot is the injection.
No.
That is monthly.
Have
you ever had it before? Have you ever?
I've had an injection once. I don't know if it was depot, but I had an injection when I was in hospital. But that wasn't depot. Yeah. That was.
The injection is the depot. Because,
is that the depot? Yeah.
So depot is actually taking monthly. The advantage of having a depot is you don't have to always be taking the medication.
I was acting out of character, and then I got injected. Is that still a depot? Or is that something else?
That wouldn't be a depot.
That's what I said. I don't think that
wouldn't be a depot,
depot
because we've got something called rapid tranquilization.
It might have been something like that.
That actually calms you.
Yeah,
it might have been a rapid tranquilization.
Yeah, it must have been something
but even
like that.
in the hospital, we tend to actually introduce depot. Reason being is that, one, sometimes the person end up forgetting their medication taken, and you know that it's a daily kind of medication that needs to be taken. So if it's not taken, what tends to happen is you are actually setting yourself up for relapses. Yeah. And you know that when relapse comes, which means we have to start everything all over again. And we don't want to reach there.
My doctors used to always warn me about that. A doctor called Zach, which everyone knows I spoke about in my book, he used to always warn me about that, saying every relapse is like you got to start from the bottom again. So it's that's why I'm so cautious now.
Yes.
Like if I'm being completely honest, I'm not 100% perfect. Yes. So I might miss 1 day or 2, maybe 3 at max. But once I hit that 3 limit, I'm back on point. But before I was going like a week. You see, when you hit that 7 days, you start feeling it as well. Yeah. And I wasn't matured enough to know myself or know the differences. So I didn't get why I kept relapsing or why, you know what I mean? So the stage I'm at now, I'm at a really beautiful, healthy place, man, where
fantastic.
I know myself, I know my limits. No one has to force me to take it. And in fact, I better take it because I ain't got no one to force me to take it anyway.
You're right.
Before, my mum was the one that was like
Reminding you and
reminding
asking
me,
you.
she's not here. My auntie tries her best, but even her, she's got her life.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's
So even if
really
you
just
take
me.
it-
So like, I better make sure that I'm on
take
point.
it.
You know what I mean?
Because relapse is all the time, especially imagine you actually being told you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
And we as healthcare professionals, right? We believe that we are getting you up there.
Yeah.
Then the next moment, we're like,
Yeah.
nah, the person has actually gone down.
It feels like that as well. When you have that episode, it
Yeah.
feels like that. It feels like everything you just work. You know when you play that, what's that game when you, what's it, Jenga? You know, like when you get so far,
Yes.
and then you remove the block and it all falls. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like all your progress has just been wasted.
It feels like that because at that point in time, it becomes the multidisciplinary team. It becomes, what step do we need to take?
Yeah.
And I, as a pharmacist, most of the time, we get to be asked, we are going to go for this medication. Which dose should we start? And we have to start doing the research.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like that one particular service user, you have to try stuff over and over because you felt like that was what was helping.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to actually go back.
What
So-
I do appreciate, sorry to cut you, what I do
worries.
appreciate about episodes though, is that if you're aware enough, all the information is there. Do you know what I mean? To help you. Because episodes don't just happen for no reason.
It tells you about the journey you're on.
Exactly.
And it helps you to
and
embrace
that's
it.
what really helped me in my journey is that like, I was aware enough to start analyzing everything I was doing up until, some people don't even do
Were
that.
you documenting it? Were you
Not
journaling it?
documenting it, but like I know myself.
You
So
know-
I know
okay.
like, oh, on this day I was watching this at 3 a.m. Or on this day I didn't take my medication. Or on this day I had this kind of conversation with this person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was being able to retrace my steps. Some people don't even do self-analysis, so they don't know. They just have the breakdown one day and they can't even retrace. They don't even remember yesterday, let alone retrace.
They don't even know when it's even coming.
Yes, exactly.
Because there's that difference. Because once the person does not become self-aware, it becomes very kind of hard,
Yeah.
you know. But if you being the person has been surrounding the person for a long period of time, you can tell.
Yeah,
You can tell.
exactly.
Then the person might actually feel offended.
Yeah.
Like the moment you ask, have you taken...
That's lack of self-awareness though.
Yes, have you taken your medication?
Yeah.
That is a question that
Yeah.
most people don't want to hear. Then they start to actually think...
That question alone used to trigger me.
You get what I'm trying to say?
That question triggers a lot,
Lot
of
of
people.
people, yes.
And I said it in a podcast. I don't know if you saw that post I said when I was like, medication is not the problem.
Yes.
The problem is people not wanting to look like they're sick.
Exactly.
And that is the problem. When someone says, has you taken your medication? It's not a reminder that you need to take your
trigger point.
medication. To them, it's a reminder that like, you're basically reminding me that I'm unwell.
Exactly.
And I can say that from experience.
And
But
that
then my
is
mum
not-
used to say, have you taken the thing? Have you? I
You're
used to
like-
be like, oh, like what are you
Wait,
trying
wait,
to say to me?
It's like, am I acting out?
Yeah,
am I acting
then you
something
start getting
funny?
proud. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in terms of that, how would be best, especially my audience, for my
ask,
audience to
communicate.
watch? How do you communicate it? Because I, as
The
a
person that's
pharmacist,
communicating that question is not wrong.
yes,
It's us receiving it.
But how would
we have to start realizing that they're not saying it from a bad
Bad place, yeah.
They're just genuinely concerned. And we have to understand that like whatever perception that we have around medication, we need to change it and have the right perception or else we're gonna keep getting triggered.
So is there any other way we can
and the
rephrase
perception,
it?
and this is the perception that we need to have. We need to have the perception that the medication is not there to. We're not. This is what people get triggered.
Okay.
They believe that whenever you hear the word medication, it's a reminder that I might be on it forever. Whenever someone messaged me recently that got section, and the first thing they said is that, am I going to have to be taking medication forever? So I think you constantly need to remind the patient that this is not a forever thing. If you take it the way you're supposed to take it and respond the way you're supposed to respond, you'll be off it before you know it.
It's true.
Their fear is that like, is this what my life's going to be now forever? They're not even looking at like the process that the doctors just told them through.
taking.
Because I've been through that as well. I wasn't even listening to the doctor saying that if you keep following, you'll be... The only thing I heard is that the diagnosis that you've got, you might have to take it forever. Now I've just taken that on board and that's it.
I think, as I'm talking from a healthcare point of view, I think what we could actually end up doing is, instead of telling someone that you're going to be on it for the rest of your life or forever, what we could actually end up saying is, we are going to continue reviewing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
that is the case anyway.
the dose that you started with, it's not going to be the dose you're going to be on
now. Yeah, exactly.
for the rest of your life. As improvement goes on, we are always cautious that are they showing any sign of improvement? If yes, then why don't we slowly reduce? Though the person's not going to be off, but we could even end up decreasing how often they have to take it. Because maybe if we start to say that, okay, I'm not saying that no one should quote me on there, just making sure that I put the disclaimer that this is not healthcare advice. I'm just giving a scenario of what could potentially happen. So I'm just giving a scenario that if, let's say, the person is taking it every single day for 7 days and they're getting better, maybe reducing it of how long they could take it, which is where sometimes some people prefer a depot. Because what tends to happen is that with the depot, they take it once a month.
Yeah, so it's not like you're taking it every day.
Exactly, it's an injection. It slowly ends up helping the person. But what tends to happen is it's an injection. So some people are scared of injection. It's invasive.
That's what I thought straight. You know, when you said it straight away, I was like, no.
It's invasive. Risk of infection. Their body, that part of their body, you know, how do I say? It tends to react, and maybe if they keep on taking the injection at the same kind of their play of their place, something. It could actually end up, if it's not being rotated, especially if it's taken on the back. If it's not rotated, one part can actually become bigger than the other because of the fat deposits that could actually happen. So these are some of the stuff that are being considered, but we tend to realize that if the person is missing or the service user is missing consecutively their medication and there's a risk of relapse, then automatically they have got no option. We need to initiate them on a depot. Because if it's once a month, they'll remember. If you take it today, the next moment is the next 4 weeks. Because we calculate it 4 weekly, not like monthly, or some people is 2 weekly, depending on how they are coping. So that is the medication side of things as well. So in terms of, we've made mention of medication. Apart from medication, is there any other thing? Because some people tend to get access to therapy.
Nah.
You don't.
Apart from medication, that's about it. I used to have... is it called an intervention team that come to see you at your house? I used to have that. I haven't had that for years.
It's called the home treatment team.
Yeah, home treatment team. That was the closest I had to something else apart from medication. But apart from that, I've just been doing everything I need to do on my own.
Fantastic.
And that comes from like understanding your situation and understanding how important your role in the situation is.
Yes.
Your role is everything. They can give you medication. They can give you therapy. They can. People can send you motivational quotes every morning. You can get people can give you podcast references. But if you yourself don't want to get better, are not applying what they're showing you. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. I was like, because I'm always constantly thinking about innovative ways of like helping people that's going through mental health issues. What can I do now? What can I do new? Okay, I've written a book. I've made albums about it. I've done podcasts. I've done a TED Talk. What else can I do? And then I sat there and I realized, and I said, do you know what? It's not what else I can do. Look, there's books around us.
So many of them.
I was like, the issue is, are they applying what's already been given? Because everything's been laid out. The Bible's not changing, you know? No. That's it now.
The Old Testament is going to be Old Testament. The New is going to be...
That is it.
Someone made a funny joke. They were like, why is my phone actually updating? Why is my Bible updating? Have they actually added a new chapter or what?
Exactly. So it is what it is. It's just now, are you going to put in the effort and apply it? Because that's the only difference between me and someone else that's probably in the place that I used to be in, is that I applied everything everyone said to me. When everyone said start sleeping at this time, I did it. Yep. When they said take a medication every day, I did it. When they said, do you know what I mean? I did everything they said and it worked. So I just think the best advice I can give is apply what people are saying to you.
And you're right.
And you'll see the results. You will see it.
You're right.
They're like, these, when on the medication, when it says take it 2 times a day at this time.
You make sure you
it's
do
not
it.
for no reason. If you do it, you will see the results. It's just people are not doing it.
Because Shocka, I don't
And that's
think...
where stigma comes in.
Yes.
Because people are not doing it, not because they don't want to, but that stigma is in the way.
It's the stigma. I'm happy that you've actually made mention of stigma, because the reason why I made mention of depot previously is one of the advantages of depot is that no one would know that you are actually taking a Medicaid, because you've got your bag going on, you've got your pouch. And let's be honest, stigmatism has eaten into the culture that even right now, I want to have a conversation with an HR. That what is the process when someone has been diagnosed with a mental health condition, right? And they come to work and they've not declared it. Or even if they declare it, what steps are available for them? Are we going to provide an avenue whereby they can thrive in work, i.e., if, let's say, they're supposed to finish this work in 45 minutes, everybody's supposed to finish in 45 minutes, are they going to be given extra time? How are we going to support? It's something that it has been jogging my memory, because working in a mental health trust, right, these are the kind of questions that I ask, because sometimes you look at some of the clients, you look at their profiles, and you realize some of them are coming from a high pay kind of job. Some are even working in the NHS. Some are even, I read one, he's a train driver, so I'm like, is his boss or someone going to know that this is where he's been, or is it going to be kept confidential? Because at what point is this going to be kept confidential too? Because if I'm working with a colleague who is going through such a moment, I don't know their triggers, and I do something that triggers them, am I going to be in trouble? Because I didn't know.
That's true.
And even in terms of the trigger or how they're going to actually have work, what can I do to support the person? Am I supposed to know? So these are the gray areas that I want to take my next step on, because workplace, this is where a lot of people tend to develop these kind of conditions because of the work pressures that comes. But is the workplace also providing avenues for us to support those who go out? Because before I started my my career in mental health as a pharmacist, I've seen people who have been in the trust that I've worked with that I never saw, who eventually we have to be the service providers to them. So all these kind of stuff tend to, trigger me as a person working in such a place. How much can I take? How much can I do to support? Even how much can I do to support myself? So all the time, and even me becoming an advocate has even helped me most, because I know my breaking point. I know when I said, you know what, I'm done. I can't function any longer. Let me take breaks. So it makes me become self-aware of these. But what about my colleagues who are silently battling it and our medications? How do we provide them or provide for them? Is it that they have to be silent about it? Should it be treated like a silent kind of thing, whereby my colleague who's got diabetes is not afraid to actually inject themselves with their insulin pen? Meanwhile, the other person has to take their tablet. Why should I be judgmental?
That's where stigma comes into it, though. Because the stigma around diabetes is not that heavy.
It used to be.
It's just seen as like, an illness.
But
mental health, that's what I'm trying to say, is because mental health is not just seen as an illness, and it's seen as like you're crazy. They've added that to it. So nobody wants to look like the crazy one. No one wants to be the crazy friend.
They forget that there are people in suit and tie who are actually going through the most. But they look at it from the point of view, the person is tattered. No, it's not. We have seen people, and I've actually come across, and to me, all the time, this code whereby they end up saying that, treat every single person with kindness. You don't know what they're going through. And I actually end up challenging it that I don't need to know what you're going through before I treat you like a human. So far as you are a creature on this earth and you're a human being, I have to treat you with respect.
100%.
I don't need to know what you are going through. So all the time, whenever I see these kind of calls, I was like, everybody's going through something. So I don't need to know. Because once you're on the train, I don't need to go know that, you've been diagnosed with this, blah, blah, blah. No. It's just that short period of time that I have that encounter with you. My humanness needs to come out. The humanity deep rooted within me needs to showcase that. I need to show that kind of. I don't need to know what you're going through. So it's a thing that with me. One day I'm just praying to God. So if you are working in an HR of any company, regardless of big, small, I want to be educated more on what step needs to be taken if someone has actually got a mental health condition. Are they supposed to declare it on the application? And if they declare it, is it going to be used against them? Because we know about the equality law that actually governs in terms of employment. Is it being used in effect? And if the person has got it, is it something that their colleagues at work needs to know about it? Because as Shocka made mention of, triggers can actually happen, and we don't want to let the trigger happen before we know the full story. Because if we know what a person is going through, at least we will know what they like and what they do not like, and we'll be able to provide extra support for them to be able to work efficiently, same as their fellow colleagues as well. So that was the working place part of it. You made mention, and which was something great, because that was my follow-up question, how you said that all the resources are around, the books, the podcasts, the music, all of them are around, but it's down to the service user to put more effort into whatever they are doing to help them. Did you find listening to motivational quotes or, let's say, podcasts really, really effective?
100%. 100%.
Tell me more.
I was watching a Nipsey Hussle interview, and he said it's human nature for us to search for inspiration. And I was like, you're right.
It's true.
Everyone is online searching for some sort of inspiration from somewhere. Someone right now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Is looking for something that could, like, you know, tip them over and give them that push to, like,
look at the weather. It's not sunny today.
Exactly. Especially
and today,
in England.
Yeah. And today a lot of people are going to search for that kind of inspiration that will kick them. We all do, because all the time I tell people this. When I started with my mental health advocacy, I made this quote. I said, they say laughter is the medicine, but I believe words are also part of the therapy. Yeah. Because if we take a step back in Genesis, right, it was words that God used to create, except for human being, whereby he created us in his own image, whereby he said, let there be light, and there was light. Which means there is light on our tongue. There is salt on our tongue. Which means whatever we use our tongue to profess, which comes in the form of words, can have an effect on that. It can bring darkness, or it can bring light. You get what I'm trying to say? So it is a thing where, with me, all the time I tell people that I always want to associate myself with positive energy, positive people. If you start being negative about something, I will shut the conversation down. If it continues, I have to move, because my spirit nourishes on positivity and positive word. So every morning I've got this ritual that I do in my car. I have to listen to a gospel music or something motivational to be able to help me start my day. Because if my spirit starts in a low mood, forget about the day. I might as well go back to my bed and sleep.
No, definitely. It's important, because that energy you bring into the world is contagious.
Yes.
And it's like, sometimes you don't get a second chance at a first impression. So people won't know that you had something wrong with you that day. They'll just judge that. I met Kwame that day, and like,
it's moody.
He was moody and
so rude.
Do you know what I mean? And that could just mess up the opportunity that they was going to give you.
You're right.
So no, definitely.
And with me personally, the day might be wrong. It might be a bad day, but I'll let people know that, sorry, today I'm not going to be the usual Kwame that you see, who is energetic, bubbly and everything. But I'll try my very best to pull through. If I feel like it's getting heavy, I'll pull myself. Because with me, the moments that you find me very, very silent is when something has gone wrong and I could snap. But I don't want to be judged by how I reacted, you know, and I don't want to be judged based on what I was going through. So I might as well take myself out of the situation, calm myself down and move. Because I remember at work, something happened and I was constantly letting this person know, oh, we do it this way, we do it that way. And it's like every time I have to. Then within myself, I started feeling that kind of rage, because I've had a very poor start of the day. And I think that day I've not had even enough sleep as well. And something that's happened at home. So I was like, I don't want to actually snap. Because once I snap here, everyone will judge me. So I pulled myself away from the environment, calmed myself down, did something different. So at the end of the day, that's when I opened up and I told the person that the reason why when you were speaking, I was not responding much. It's because of what I was actually going through, which is normal. You know, we all have the good days and the bad days, but I wouldn't let the bad days define my character.
Yeah.
Because it's just a
day.
10 minutes, it's just a day.
Exactly.
And the day will actually end up casting judgment on you that, everybody will remember. They'll remember that bad day that you actually snap, and you don't want to be constantly being reminded about
and
it.
in terms of what you said about if the motivation helped, you know, I think it's in the Bible, it says faith comes by hearing.
Yes.
So it's like the more you're hearing and hearing and hearing those motivate, and you can play it as much times as you want. That's the beautiful thing about content, is that it's yours.
Yeah.
So like the more you're hearing these podcasts, it does something to you, it changes you. And normally the person that you're listening to is probably someone that has overcome a situation you're dealing with. Do you know what I mean? So you're looking at the answer.
You're looking at the template.
You're looking at the finished product of like what you're currently going through. So that's a beautiful thing. So maybe someone that's going through, they're trying to make their dreams come true, and then you're listening to a Jeff Bezos interview. You're looking at a man that made his dreams come true.
And
so I mean, that's all the motivation you need.
Yeah.
Because as human beings, we learn through demonstration.
Yes.
We don't really learn through talking as much. That's why you can tell your child, sit down, and they just laugh at you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you get up and sit down, they start copying you.
You're right.
So it's like some people just symbolize hope when you see them.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be, even if a person doesn't know me. So maybe when you saw me on the train that day, say we didn't speak, because you couldn't get to me, you still could have looked at me and said, oh my God,
I saw him.
I saw him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a real figure.
Yeah.
I saw him. I know what he went through.
Yes.
He's still walking.
Yes.
He's still talking. He's still breathing. And he just got off the train. And that alone is hope.
Yeah.
That's why people scream when they see celebrities. Because it's not just
my
because of
God.
we see human beings all the time. But it's what that person represents.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? In their mind.
Because imagine meeting someone like Stormzy on the streets of Croydon. Wow.
Yes. You're looking at...
And I've met a lot of celebs like that. Actually, I've met Stormzy, I've met him twice. One, we were driving side by side in the traffic. Yeah. So it was kind of a surreal moment. He has rolled up his glasses up, but I can still see through. Then I just gave him the nod, and he gave me the nod as well back. You know, it helps you to know the human side of the person.
Cent, you're seeing a man that was so close to leaving Earth.
Exactly.
He got shot 9 times. That means survived that.
Chipped in the teeth.
So automatically when you see him, he represents, some people represent different ideas.
Exactly.
When you see 50 Cent, he represents like survival. And like, you know, get rich or die trying, you know, beating the odds. Yeah. There's some people that you see that represent like peace. You know what I mean? That you just see them and you know that like, oh my God. Like Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
For him to go through 27 years in, you know what I mean? He represents like, I think one of my ex-girlfriends I was with, she bought a book for me, Nelson Mandela book. It's called The Long Walk to Freedom.
Exactly.
I don't remember that book.
I've watched that movie as well, The Long Walk. And it really gives.
So that's what he represents. Like,
and Shocka actually also represents the resilience of going through the system, because people go through sectioning and come out. They don't want to talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
They don't. They'll just want to say, you know what? I don't want to talk about it because I had this traumatic
And that's
experience.
after one time.
Some
people get sectioned one time and their whole spirit, everything. The beautiful thing about my journey, it's not like I got sectioned one time. I became completely better. And now I'm preaching to the whole world. People see me
4 times.
You see me have this battle numerous times. Like, I'm on top of the world, and then you get a phone call, or you go on my Instagram and you see me making a video saying like, "Oh, guys, I'm back in hospital," or like everyone's. Then you see me pick myself back up. So like, it's a real hero story, like because that everyone can relate to.
Working on the ward, I have seen someone who has battled through it, and the funny thing is that before I went to see this particular client on the ward, I've read the notes and I've seen how he has treated other members of staff. I have observed how he has treated another service user when he was admitted. So going to his room, I was like, if I carry this deep rooted in my mind, though I need to have at the back of my mind that this is how he could react. Yeah. If I end up having it like glaring right in my mind, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation. And it was to do with psychoeducation of his medication, basically talk him through the reason why he should take it.
Yep.
And if he's got any queries, I answer it. So immediately I had another member of staff who observed me, and we had a beautiful conversation. I just talked him through. He was like, "No, I don't want to take it on my back." That was actually the depot. I was like, "I don't want to take it on my back because of this and this and that. I rather want to take it on my arm." I was like, "Don't worry, we are more than willing to actually put it on the arm because that's another option." I was like, "Yeah, that's." We spoke to him in a calmly manner, and it made me realize that everybody copes with it differently. Although he has been admitted with a mental health condition on the hospital ward, but I managed to have a positive conversation with him. And every time I see him on the ward, I was asking him, "How you doing?" He was responding. In a few days' time, he got discharged. He's gone. Like, he's gone. And that is the reality. Sometimes, whenever we hear even my fellow colleagues who are pharmacists, some people are even afraid to even work on a mental health ward because of some of the stories they heard. They heard some wild story. Are you okay? Are you safe? And I said, yes, we are safe. We understand the kind of patient who could be admitted because some of them might have a police case, might have court cases. We understand the caliber.
If I'm being completely honest, it takes a certain type of person to be able to work on a ward.
100%.
Yeah, like, that's not a job everyone can do.
All the time I tell people, I said, people are like, "What actually inspired you?" And I said, I've had this particular goal as far back as my second year university. And that is, we are talking about the 2017, 2018, and we're now in 2025, right? So it took me 7 years. I knew what I wanted to be 7 years. I was building myself. And that time, I've not been on the ward yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually coming from
still training like you was on the ward.
I've not even been on, the closest I've been on the ward was clients who are
on the ward.
Who have actually have mild experiences, you know, who are actually elderly, actually. It was not like active adults or young people, you know. But I still knew that this is what I want to do because this is something that we don't talk much about. And with my purpose to my journey to becoming a mental health pharmacist, always it fascinates people. I said, I was looking for answers.
Yeah, exactly.
I was digging. And as far back as I was in second year, I had people coming in my DM asking me the help, support, which therapist. And bear in mind, I'm not qualified. And if I'm not qualified, you can't give any advice. Even right now I'm qualified, I cannot give an online advice. I have to signpost people. But I managed to be signposting people. So I realized that, you know, this is not a job. This is a calling for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a calling and it's deep-rooted. Because some of the stuff that you will see and some of the clients that will come on the ward, some days you feel like, do I really want to do it? But you could literally, once you sit in their ward round and they actually come up with a plan, you realize that the plan is working. And that is the beauty about this job.
Seeing that transformation of a patient must be so rewarding. Because like, especially with me, when I talk to nurses or like, they always tell me like, we're just so happy to see you because we rarely see people, you know, get back to themselves. The success rate isn't that high.
Yeah, it's not.
They're always coming back. You're back here again, or like.
And sometimes people don't even realize that one of the things that even make people recover quicker is treating them like human beings.
100%. That's what I was fortunate with. My friends never brought it up. It was my family that made me feel awkward. My mum checking like, have you taken, or looking at me in there. But my friends, they just got on with it.
Because with me, when I see someone with a different ability, I don't focus on that kind of impediment that people speak about. I focus on can I have a connection with you? Yeah, if you have, there we go.
And I think that's what people fear.
People are afraid.
People are afraid that like,
that's
what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be talking to them about it. They're going to be strangled. Everyone's going to be staring at them. It's going to be across their forehead. But one thing I've learned about life as I get older is that people don't care, you know. No, Kwame. People are in their own world, you know.
Let me tell you one thing.
For someone to really, do you know what I realize people do care about though? Greatness. If you're doing great things, people will come and comment their negativity. They'll watch your story. But bro, if it's not that, people won't pay you attention, bro. It takes a lot.
The world will watch you struggle.
The world will watch you struggle.
When you get great, they want to tear you down.
Yeah, but
so it's like
but they want to see it at the same time. It's
even-
like the homeless person. You know the homeless person that we walk past on
Yeah.
a day-to-day basis? The only reason why people are walking past him is because they haven't seen his value.
No.
Even if they find out that that homeless person that they're walking past is the president's nephew, but they just kicked him out of the family, they'll still try to talk to him and be like, yo, how can you get me to meet your...
They want to use you to get there. People like this world. If I go that direction, I wouldn't even end, because most often that is how people would actually react. Because, for example, there is this these social media pages that project people's success and everything. If you go and read the comment section, bro, you'll be sad. You just have to leave. Then you realize that, you know what, some people are not ready to actually be great. The moment you become great, they want to find out how you became great. They want you to give them the blueprint. But I guarantee you that those people found this person, they came across this person's pathway one way or another, that they had opportunity to support this person. But did they choose to support? No. They walked past because they didn't see the vision.
So you see when the Bible says your gift will make room for you and bring you before kings, I understand it now. Because what God is saying is that the world you're going into is so wicked that if you don't develop and refine your gift, you're going to have a hard time. He's saying, like, no matter how people... Because look at Kanye West. No matter how crazy the world perceives him, his gift is so valuable that they have to brush it to the side. Because I always think, when he says something crazy, I always think to myself, that's it. He's finished now. And then he would, like, release a new album, and it will still go number one.
You actually
so that
release
gift
a
is
new
still
product.
making room for him. So it's like, without that gift, you're going to have a hard time. Because people don't genuinely want to help you. Genuinely, you have a rare few. That's why they call them destiny helpers.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because they're assigned to you. Apart from them, people
you
genuinely don't want to.
So the next one, I'm happy that you made mention or made reference from the Bible, because I know you are deep rooted in your faith. And inside your book, you made reference to a pastor's sermon where he says, when God wants to use you, he will make you taste and experience what you're going to be using to save people. I'm so happy
you brought that. No one's ever brought that up. And that is such a powerful quote. That can help everyone know what their destiny is. Because like when God wants to use you, he makes you taste what you're going to be helping people with.
You know that quote has really, really resonated.
It's the truth. If you're going to be helping people with depression, you have to have tasted it.
Yeah, you have to taste it.
So when you talk to that person with depression, you have compassion. Because you know, like, you know what I mean?
I think that's what's even giving me the compassion to be able to help people on the mental health. Because that little taste of depression that I got from grieving, it made me understand what it feels like.
Exactly. Because people look at me without knowing my story, they'll think, why would you want to come on camera and start speaking about sectioning and schizophrenia? Don't you know, in society, that's the lowest of the low. And like I understand them, because sometimes I question myself. But then, because I've been sectioned myself, I understand, these people need to be spoken for. Because I know exactly what they're going through. Now much people DM me saying like, you're lucky that you've even got a talent and people want to invite you to their podcast to speak. Someone like us, if they will never give us an opportunity, because like, number one, they don't take us seriously. Number two, I can't articulate myself the way that you do. So even if I do get a chance, I'm not even gonna, and then I'm gonna feed more into that stereotype of, you see, this is why we don't give people, do you know what I mean? So like, I understand so much. Fantastic. But I'm so happy you brought that quote up. So Thank people at home, if you want to know what your purpose is, look through your experiences of what you've tasted. If you're a person that's been through abuse and you've survived, you have to go and help
and you've healed
people that's been through abuse, because you've got the answer. Fantastic. It's only if you've survived. If you haven't survived, then you can't help no one.
Because you've survived and healed. Because all the
time,
that
means you got the answer. You did something.
One of the things I actually have that conversation with people. The reason why I make people know about the topic areas that we want to talk about is I understand triggers, as you made mention of. I don't want to say something on camera that maybe the person will not express it right in front of me, but they go home and they feel bad about it and the content get released and people didn't know about that side, and it raises a conversation that should rather help. Rather, people take it from a negative point of view and they rather feed on the negativity than the positive side. So all the time, I always tell people that when you come to my podcast, yes, the views, it will become topical, but if any time in your life you realize that whatever you said does not represent you any longer, let me know. I'll remove it, because I don't want it to actually close any opportunity for you. That was not the purpose of the conversation.
Definitely.
It was there to heal people. It was there to, help other people to be able to understand that there is a purpose for their life, rather than they themselves becoming they become predators for people to prey on, which in our current society, social media and even the mainstream media, some of them actually want that kind of clickbait. So these are the kind of stories that they want, so that everybody keeps on calling, they feed, but they don't see the other side of the thing, that the person who is the news, how are they feeling? How are they going through? So I think that's the time that humanity actually kicks in, and this platform is built on the foundation of humanity, because we are here to help humans, and we have to apply that. So I know that the clock is actually ticking, and we get into the end of our conversation, but we've seen you written your book, done music, tunes, releasing album after the other, and doing advocacy. Is there any next stage or a project that is coming that is not in any of these shape or form?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, there is, but I don't want to speak about it.
You want to speak about it?
I don't. We could talk about, that could be part 3.
That can be part 3.
That could be part
fantastic.
3.
So, my listeners and my viewers, as promised, that we're going to actually give you a part 2 of this conversation with Shocka, and we've definitely actually answered all the questions. If not, let me know, and we'll be able to bring Shocka back in for us to actually end up having this conversation. But until then, thank you very much for watching this content or listening to this content. Please don't forget to subscribe, because the last time that I checked, I realized that almost about 70% of people watch this content, they enjoy it, but they tend not to subscribe. So, which means it's not reflecting on the community that we are trying to build, because the more that we end up joining this community, or the bigger it becomes, the more that people will be willing to come on this platform to have such conversation like what Shocka has actually done with us. And please don't forget to share this content with others as well, and don't forget to also leave your comments in the comment section, and I'm always more than willing to respond to all comments. Up until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and wherever you are, thank you very much, and keep supporting the Shop Conversation podcast. Have a great day.